You're watching a World Anvil tutorial, and the question I have for you is, are you a plotter? Hello, my name is Guy and welcome to this World Anvil tutorial where we're looking at the character template, and within the character template we're looking at the RPG specific sub-template of Plotter. Now what am I talking about? You can see behind me I've got one of my characters, Rakir Voth Darchargol, who is a very nasty individual, and as part of that character template you'll see that there is this red box if you have the RPG module loaded, and in that red box you've got fodder, plotter, nemesis villain, and then you can close all of that off if you don't want it. So what is a plotter? We spoke about fodder last time, and this is create a recurring NPC who will stand with or against the PCs over an extended period of time. Let's unpack that a little bit more as we go into the template. So a plotter NPC is someone who is going to stay by the PC's side for an extended duration of time. Now you might be doing this because they are the blacksmith in the local village that the PCs go to every single time, and they're building up a rapport with that blacksmith. Why is it important for them to build up a rapport for that blacksmith? Well, we can take that blacksmith away later on, have the villain abduct them, or give the blacksmith some kind of personal dilemma which they will then give to the NPCs as a quest. And if the PCs have built a relationship with that NPC, they are more likely to go along with that adventure than not. It also gives them more personal motivation to get involved if they care about the NPC. So unlike a fodder NPC who's there for one scene and possibly is there to just die, a plotter NPC is someone who's going to hang around for a lot longer and who's going to have some attributes to make sure that they are actually worthwhile keeping and that our players actually start to enjoy interacting with them. So let's go through it very quickly in terms of this template. We've got the type. So what type of plotter are they? Now there are several different types. There's the mentor plotter, there's the long term, there's the supporter, there's the guide, there's the advancer. It doesn't really matter which one of these you go with, it just determines how and what you should be doing with them as they get there. And then of course with your nemesis and villain you've got different types of those, but that's another video. So when we look at plotter, the mentor plotter in a nutshell is someone who's going to give the party spiritual guidance or advice. Think of any kind of mentor within any kind of film or novel. They're there basically just to guide the players in terms of saying, well, you really should take the moral high ground, not sink down to their level, do the right thing, those kinds of things. The boxing trainer who inspires the boxer to keep on going is a mentor style of NPC. They're there to help the party. A long-term plotter, a long-term NPC, is a romance NPC, perhaps someone who just is in love with one of the characters or who is there to support. So the friendly butler. No real advice given, no real affections other than just always being there and being reliable. The supporter plotter or NPC is literally when the party comes back, they're there to cheer them on. They're there to congratulate the party. They're there to encourage the party to carry on doing whatever it is they're doing. They are quite literally there to support the party. A guide plotter or NPC is someone there who is literally going to guide them from point A to point B. They are the NPC who knows how to get stuff, who knows where to go to get it, and who knows how to take the party there. They're not going to help them in terms of what they should be doing once they get there or how they should do that. That's the mentor. This is a guide. This is someone who is literally going to know how to get them from point A to point B. And then the advancer NPC, the advancer plotter, is someone who, well, let's just say, is someone who makes sure that the party doesn't get stuck doing mundane stuff. So an advancer NPC might very well be someone who goes and refills their water skins when they have downtime, is someone who keeps the castle running while they're not there so they don't have to worry about it, is basically someone who takes beta shift on the starship so that our PCs can actually get some rest. They are there to make sure that the stuff that would normally have to be focused on, would normally have to be done by the PCs, can be done by somebody else, and that's their role. So once you assign them a type, you then fill in their job. They should always have a job and a goal, and what separates them from the fodder is that they should have an advanced goal as well. Now the advanced goal is more of a personal goal, something that is not necessarily going to be revealed to the PCs initially. It's going to come across later on. They're going to discover it through dialogue and interactions with that plotter NPC. They're going to really uncover it once the plotter NPC trusts the PCs and is willing willing to open up. These could be things like save their mother from a terrible curse, or save up enough money to start their own bakery. It's entirely up to you, and to be perfectly honest with you, the more contrary it is to their current goal, the better. So the more unique, the more quirky, the better. It will make that NPC feel more real. Oftentimes we might have the goal of the character is to make money, but maybe the additional goal is actually to open up a kitten raising farm, because that's what popped into my brain. A kitten raising farm. You raise kittens, which is not necessarily going to be very profitable, but it is something that they want to do, and it's very different from trying to make money. A use, you're going to have the same use as with your with your fodder NPCs, absolutely. Same thing with a quirk, and same thing with equipment. They're going to have equipment, they're going to have quirks to make them different. But we then get this block here: competence, likability, and proactiveness, with the drop-down menus that go with them. This is how you make, in general, an NPC likable or not. And we're not talking about likability, we're talking about likable. Do we like that NPC enough to want to interact with them on a regular basis? That doesn't mean necessarily that they're nice people. It just means that we like to interact with them. I know it's a little bit confusing, but unfortunately, well, that's the way that the English language works. So to create a likable character, you need to have at least 2 out of these 3 boxes in the above average category, which is 4 or 5, sitting in somewhere in the 4 or 5 space. Only 2 of them need to be there. The other one can, and not oftentimes, but is in the lower bracket. And the reason for that is that you're creating a flawed character. You're creating a character who might be incredibly competent. They're a highly trained genius, so when they're doing their job, they do their job to the best that it could possibly be. But they're incredibly unlikable. They gruff, they're mean, they tell everyone that they're useless. But they put in good effort when they are doing something. So if you go to the blacksmith and you say to the blacksmith, "Would you make me a sword?" The blacksmith might say, "No, go away, I have no time to make swords. I hate you all. You all stink and remind me of dead people. But all right, I'll make you your sword." And they make the most amazing sword, and when you go to collect it, they say, "I made the sword so that it's completely and utterly indestructible as well at no extra charge, because I figure you are saving the lives of all these wretched, miserable peasants that wander around and don't pay for anything. I hate them all." So a grumpy or an unlikable character, but who's very good at their job and who takes initiative, who is proactive, is someone that we might actually like. We can certainly start to see a value and keep them around. On the other hand, someone who's highly trained and is lovable because they tell jokes, and whilst they're busy working, they compliment you. "I would not have had this problem to solve if you were not here. You make my life interesting. I love having you around. Now let's see if we can make this little nuclear bomb problem go away, huh?" But they put in 0 effort. "Unfortunately, I would do this, but I need vast sums of money before I touch it. I will do it for you, but you must pay me your soul. Yep, you must pay me your soul, or your firstborn child, whichever one is worth more. Yeah." You go away, you come back. "Oh yes, I now have the codes for you, but I don't really have the energy to put them into the device itself, because you're going to die when you do that, so that's over there, you can do that." Yeah. Yeah. "Oh, you want the codes in your own language? That costs you more." So they're not very proactive, but they are lovable and they are highly competent. Well, I'm not sure if that particular character came across as that way, but nonetheless, it gives you an idea of how this whole thing works. So you just drop these values in here, and it will give you some kind of idea as to what the NPC should be like and how they should behave, and it's certainly going to help you with your dialogue. Now, if you make all of the values low, they're not likely to like that NPC at all. An untrained, stupid, unlikable, with little effort or no effort or some effort. Well, why do you have them around, really? There's no value to have them around whatsoever. So you don't also want to go in the opposite direction and say, right, highly trained, absolutely lovable, and they put in the maximum effort. Because why don't they go adventuring with the party if they're so brilliantly wonderful? Really, why does the party not take them with them? They should want to do that. So play around with these values to create very different, very unique NPCs, almost on the fly, if you like. You can kind of scroll through these and say, well, let's make him indifferent. So, you know, I made it. It's fine. It works. I've made 50 of them in case you need 49 more. You can play that however you like. Now, coolness, and as the statement says here, are they as cool as Tom Selleck's moustache, or are they Muppet in socks and sandals? What makes them cool? It could be that they have a great beard. It could be that they have a hammer that sings when they hit the iron. It could be that they are just at the top of their game in terms of having gadgets. What's the coolness factor? What makes you kind of go, oh, that's a cool character? That can take some time to think about. But your long-term NPCs, your plotter NPCs are ones that should be there for the duration of the plot. That's why they're called plotter NPCs. So something that makes them cool. You've got to think about something along those lines. What are their fears? What are they afraid of? Now, they should be afraid of being killed. That's what most people and things are afraid of. And if they're not, then why are they not? What makes them different? So giving them a fear, it doesn't have to be a list of fears. It could just be one or two things, but it certainly helps you in terms of coming up with dialogue, in terms of creating a character who has a roundedness that perhaps the fodder NPCs won't have. And it gives your NPCs, well, something to talk about around the campfire. Oh, I'm crazy terrified of puppies. I can't stand them. I don't know what to do with them. I mean, you just want to eat them, but you know that that's wrong to do, don't you? So you sort of sit there wondering what they taste like. That's what I'm afraid of. Okay, kittens and puppies. I don't know what's going on. Desires. Desires. Do they crave something? Chocolate, power, an afternoon without the kids. What is it that they desire that's going to give them some kind of, again, dialogue points as well as an objective? Now, a desire is different from a goal. A goal might be, okay, well, I've got to make 15 hammers tomorrow for the National Hammer Fair. But I really wish I could be painting pictures of kittens and puppies in a field. That's what I really desire. That's what I really want. So it separates them again. It just helps differentiate them and give them something to talk about and something to discover. We then move down into this box here where we've got 8 different explanatory, exposition, descriptors, if you like. Facial features. Do they have any unusual facial features? Their eyes slightly skew? Are they blue eyes? One blue this way, one blue that way. Are they, do they have funny speech patterns? Do they lisp when they speak? Which is a terribly unfortunate situation, and, or they're like me, where they don't finish words because they have finished the sentence in their head and they forget to make their mouth do the same thing. What's their body type? Are they so fat that they make small animals nervous? I know certainly puppies and kittens look twice when they see me. They have to, because they can't see it all in one take. Emotional state. Are they particularly calm? Are they happy? Are they angry? How are they? What is their emotional state like? Generally speaking, now this is very important, generally speaking, what's their emotional state like? What do we see? Not what is their sight like? It's not 2020. What do we see when we see this NPC? Do we see, give us a description. Do they wear flamboyantly bright colours? Do they wear a black jacket and a sort of beigey, funny coloured neck thing? What is it that they wear? How do they sound? Not just necessarily their speech pattern, but do they squeak when they walk because their shoes don't fit properly? Do they have a rattle? Do they... It's entirely up to you. What do they smell like? I certainly remember people who've got a very distinct body odour or a very different kind of body odour. It doesn't necessarily have to be body odour. Do they smell of cloves? Do their clothes have an old smell, a young smell? I don't know. What was it like when you used to smell your grandmother in a purely when you were hugging her kind of way? Touching. I'm going to move away from grandmothers with this one. When you physically touch them, are they well muscled, so it's nice and hard and that sort of thing, or is it flabby and soft and pudgy, and is it slightly damp? Is it moist? What is it like when this individual is in contact with you, when the ruffian grabs your character? How do you describe it, or when they grab their character? It's all there just to help you describe things. Then finally we've got happy, sad and angry. How do they behave when they're in those 3 states? Generally speaking, those are the states that NPCs will be found in, and how do they behave in those? So an emotional state is when they're neutral, when they've got nothing to be happy, sad or angry about. What are they like? Then we come down here and we go, well, when they're happy, do they talk too much? Do they not talk talk very much? Do they smile a lot? Do they hum? Do they offer people cookies and drinks? When they're sad, are they withdrawn, or are they angry? Do they get spiteful when they're angry? Do they get sad? You get the idea. These are just descriptors. All of these are just additional pieces of information that you can add to your Plotter NPC to make them come alive. And then, of course, you've got the biography. Again, now, this is the thing. With this particular biography, I've said here list 3 things. So do three things that have something to do with their past. They grew up on a kitten farm, and then they moved away to an asylum which had puppy therapy for people who were involved, and then finally they got married to an old lady who had a slightly moist touch to her skin. I have no idea. I don't even want to know where that's going. Anyway, those 3 things allow you to drop that into the dialogue when the NPC is chatting away to the PCs. Maybe it's around a campfire. Maybe the PCs say, oh, well, we're going to take a long rest. All right, well, Sally the NPC, who's a supporter, is going, I remember there's one time when I was on the kitten farm that it was absolutely like this, and we sat around a fire, and it was amazingly awesome, just like you guys, because I really enjoy hanging out with you guys. None of that's come from anywhere except by going, well, the biography said she grew up on a kitten farm. What is she like when she's happy? She's overly bubbly and talkative. She doesn't really have too much of a speech pattern. She sounds a little bit irritating. And we can fill in some of these other bits and bobs. And because she's a supporter NPC, well, she's there just to make the party feel good about themselves. So that's how you work out a Plotter NPC. You can almost do this on the fly, really, sort of punching in stuff as you go along. It's a really quick way of creating a very interesting character. Then, because it integrates into the character design template, you can then go in afterwards and start filling out all kinds of pieces of information to make them even more interesting, become more alive. That, in a nutshell, a very big nutshell, is the Plotter NPC subtemplate within the character template on World Anvil. Until next time, light up the forge.